Let's talk about building AI for the enterprise. It's a huge undertaking, right? So today, we're going to dive into a platform that's designed to make that whole process way easier. Microsoft Foundry. Oh, it absolutely feels like that. You're trying to juggle all the pieces, you've got models over here, a bunch of different tools over there, you're managing all the infrastructure, and then you have to wrap the whole thing in enterprise-level security. It's this incredibly complex act before you even get to write a single line of code for your actual application. So, what if there was just one single, unified platform that could handle all of that mess for you? Well, that is exactly what Microsoft Foundry promises to do.
At its heart, Foundry is basically the foundation that you build on. It brings together all that production-grade infrastructure with interfaces that are actually easy to use. By pulling agents, models, and tools all under one roof, the goal is pretty simple, but it's super powerful. Let developers like you focus on building amazing AI apps, not on wrangling the infrastructure underneath.
Oh, and a quick but really important heads up before we go any further. You might have actually heard of this platform as Azure AI Foundry. Well, it was just recently renamed to Microsoft Foundry. It's the same incredible platform, just with a new name, so keep that in mind.
Okay, so when you first log in, you're going to notice something interesting. There are two different portals, a classic version and a new one. Now, this isn't a mistake. It's actually by design. It's meant to give you the right tool, the right experience for the specific job you're trying to do.
So here's the key takeaway: knowing when to use which one. You're going to want to use the classic portal when you're managing a whole bunch of different resource types, like Azure OpenAI, hubs, different kinds of projects. But if you want a really clean, focused experience for building modern, multi-agent apps inside a Foundry project, you'll definitely want to use the new portal. And that brings us to what is maybe the most important decision you're going to make when you get started. It happens right at the very beginning. What kind of project are you actually going to create?
The choice comes down to this: a Foundry project or an older hub-based project. And believe me, your decision right here is going to completely determine the kinds of capabilities you'll get to use. So, which one is the right one for you?
Well, this table really lays it all out. You can see that while both project types share some of the same core features, the really important stuff, like general availability for agents and direct access to the Foundry SDK, that's all exclusive to the Foundry project. And maybe the biggest deal of all the new, cool feature enhancements, they land on Foundry projects first.
And you don't have to take my word for it. This quote really clears things up. The official documentation is crystal clear. If you are starting something new, Microsoft says you should use a Foundry project. This is where the whole platform is headed.
All right, so let's say you take their advice. You create a new Foundry project. What kind of superpowers do you actually unlock? Let's take a look at all the powerful new things you get.
First off, you get a huge boost when it comes to building really sophisticated AI agents. And I mean, we're talking about multi-agent orchestration for super complex workflows, enhanced memory so your agents can actually remember context from conversation to conversation, and deep knowledge integration so you can ground your agents in your own company's data.
Next up, your toolbox gets a major upgrade. You get access to this expanding catalog of over 1,400 tools. Plus, it gives you this one central place to operate, which means you can watch, tweak, and manage all your AI assets, agents, models, tools, all from a single dashboard, even if they're coming from other clouds.
And finally, everything is built from the ground up to be enterprise-ready. You get real-time observability to see how everything's performing, it integrates with Azure Policy for governance, and honestly, it's just a much faster, more streamlined developer experience. The entire interface is just built for speed and efficiency.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, this sounds amazing. How do I actually start? Well, the good news is, getting your hands on Foundry and starting to build is incredibly simple. It really just comes down to 3 basic steps. First, you need an Azure account. That's kind of your ticket to the whole party. Second, you just sign right into the Microsoft Foundry portal. And third, you create your first project. And based on everything we just talked about, you'll know to choose a Foundry project, so you get all the latest and greatest features. And that really brings us to the most exciting part of all of this. With Foundry taking care of all the complex infrastructure, the models, the tools, the security, the focus shifts completely back to you and your own creativity. It leaves us with just one final, really inspiring question. Now that the platform is handled, what are you going to build first?